Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same.
All right, folks, well, happy Tuesday evening. This is June 13th, 2017. We are coming to you live right now from klrnradio.com. And sorry, I took a drink of water. I promise I was trying to say folks there for a second. It almost sounded like I tried to say something else, so I just wanted to clarify. This is Jen and Rick, and we are live, and I'm one half of the crew, and she is here as well. Good evening, Miss Jen. How are you?
I am doing all right. Is it only Tuesday?
I know, right? I keep thinking this is Thursday, right? No, but no.
It feels like it's already been a week.
It feels like it's a week from Tuesday. That's the problem. I feel like we've gone from one Tuesday straight to the next with nothing in the middle. But it's because of what we do, though. I mean, there's never not a time that there's not tons of crap going on in the news anymore. I was talking about that. I think it was on the show that we did with Bunny on Friday night that Dan and I did. Is, you know, after the election, we usually get these little cool-down periods where everybody goes back to their neutral corners, they lick their wounds, they take deep breaths, they pull back together, and they figure out what they're going to do to move forward. We didn't get that this time. We're still in hyper-partisan, complete campaign mode. Everything's bad or everything's great, and I'm just in the middle going, no, this kind of sucks, but this is pretty good. But, yeah, I mean, can we just all get along? I mean, not to start quoting Rodney King or anything, but can't we all just get along?
What do you want? Do you want to bust out the guitar and sit around and sing Kumbaya?
I'm not really wanting to go the whole tree hugger hippie route, but no, a sing-along might not be a terrible idea. Can we start with something besides Kumbaya, though?
Okay, maybe. Well, no, we can't do that because they think that that's like nationalist. I was going to say maybe if we all sang like, the national anthem or My Country 'Tis of Thee or God Bless America or something. But no, they won't do that either. I wonder if they'd sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Strike three. Strike one, strike two, and strike three.
I know, that's why. Wait. I feed right into this because I said maybe they'll sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game with us.
I don't know, because that take me out to the ball game is a baseball song, and it's America's national pastime, which automatically makes it nationalistic.
Also, it denotes a winner and a loser, and we can't have that. So, what other songs? No Yankee Doodle Dandy, because we're not better than anybody else. Shoot, Oh My Darling, Clementine. She drowns, she dies, and lost forever.
No, it's
kind of like our civic discourse.
Well, I mean, you can't really do Darling Clementine because that's a song that originated in the South, which makes it racist.
Oh, shoot. Well, I thought it was good because another Southerner was dying in it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you might be able to sell that one, but I'm pretty sure they're going to come back and be like, well, even though this Southern chick dies, it still is a Southern song, which automatically makes it racist. So...
How about non-normative McDonald had a farm, organic farm?
Hey, you may have a winner since you said organic. Maybe.
Oh, boy.
And the sad thing is, folks, we're not even really kidding because that's really what it takes anymore to try to get anybody to agree on anything. You have to...
Oh, my gosh, it's just crazy. The hoops you have to jump through, right?
It's just insane. I mean, there's insanity all over the place. I mean, the worst thing about it is watching the left just completely melt down and become unhinged. So because I knew it might get a bit of attention, and also because it would give us something to talk about, I came up with an idea. So I found a tweet that everybody else was talking about in one of the groups that we were in, and I told people, go ahead and hashtag it with JandR, and maybe we'll mention it on the show. So the tweet that started it all was a tweet about America being very militaristic. It says, totally, this is a very militarized country, and God and country and guns are strong among servicemen. They said is, but that would be a typo, so I'm fixing that. So basically, I wanted to get some feedback from folks on Twitter, and we got some interesting responses. The first one was from... well, we know him as Bill, but he goes by another name on Twitter. America is the freest country on earth, but it's heavily militarized. Leftists never think before speaking. And which is true, because they usually don't. And then Al from another show that we have here, Patriot... sorry, Al, I'm butchering the name of your show. I always remember it as the 5-Minute Patriot, because it started as part of my show.
Now it's the Hardcore Patriot.
Hardcore Patriot, that's it. God, country, and guns are the reason people are still free to run their mouths, even the violent left. And then the other one that I thought was pretty interesting was if Scott DeWorkin wasn't invested in an ever-expanding federal government, what Tom Cotton says wouldn't matter to him so much. Hashtag JandR.
That was CDP. That was CD Payne. He's a fellow misfit.
Oh, yes, he is. And actually, if you for those following along at home on there, if you just click on that and scroll up, you'll see what started it all was somebody having a meltdown over the fact that Tom Cotton was defending Jeff Sessions and basically started calling him all kinds of names. And then, well, the American military is nothing but a breeding ground for white right-wing extremists. God, try to say that 5 times fast. But yeah, and then somebody pointed out the fact that, well, obviously, because Bradley Manning and Reality Winner were definitely right-wing extremists. It's amazing how your narrative doesn't work when you... I mean, let's face it. Extremists are everywhere. There are going to be people that are extremists in the military, just like there are bad apples that are police officers. There are extremists that we deal with in everyday life. I understand that, but this is all kind of tying back to what we were talking about. It's time to put some of this stuff aside. I mean, look, we're over, what are we, 140 some odd days into the Trump presidency now, and the left is still screaming for impeachment and saying that he stole the election and Hillary needs to be president?
Yes. I mean, they're still going on. And I don't know how they think. They still think, or not everybody, but there still is a good chunk of people that think that if they scream loud enough, and even if he got impeached, even if he was indicted and sent to prison, how they think that Hillary Clinton it would make the election null and void, and that Hillary Clinton would somehow magically be president. It doesn't even matter. We could execute him on the White House lawn, and that would not be the case.
Yeah, folks, it's called line of secession. There's actually a plan in place for if anything ever happens to the president, or if the president is removed from office. There's this thing outlined in the Constitution that talks about who's supposed to be next in the event that happens. Hillary Clinton's no longer on the list because she's former Secretary of State, not current. Just in case you're still trying to follow along at home and you have a liberal slant. That's not gonna work, because that's not how this works.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so laughable now, and I see more and more every day. And these people, a lot of them that are suggesting this stuff have a little blue check mark next to their name. Have you noticed how many of them do? I'm sitting here going, okay, so they want to lecture, these same blue check marks want to lecture other people for responsible speech and want to tear down every little word that they say in a tweet, and they want government officials to be held responsible for every tweet that's sent. But they can say completely irresponsible and even insightful things, but that's just fine. That's just fine because it's the way it should be in their head, and that they are speaking truth to power. So I'm getting a little sick of it.
Well, I kind of lost respect for Twitter and their blue check mark when they gave one to the human Pez dispenser and Choco Jeebus. So
this is true. The human Pez dispenser. I like that.
Come on, you know what I'm talking about. Look at his profile picture. Does he not look like a Pez dispenser?
I know, it's pretty good.
All right. So anyway, so we have audio. We're gonna back up just a little bit because before we play the Sessions clip, I have one that I want to talk about for a second because this kind of goes along with some stuff that I've been screaming about for the last several months. Because when this all started coming out, one of the first questions that I had, even before Mark Levin, was if there is collusion, and I'm still not sure there was. And there was some sort, or not even necessary collusion, but some sort of Russian interference with our election. Who is ultimately, or who would or should ultimately be responsible? My take on that should be the sitting president, not the candidate. But the interesting thing about that is we have a bit of Comey audio talking about back during the campaign, because everybody's talking about how Trump obstructed justice and Trump did this and Trump did that. And then now they've called Sessions on the carpet. Here's some interesting audio from Comey about the then sitting Attorney General, Loretta Lynch.
And it was getting to a place where that looked silly because the campaigns were talking about interacting with the FBI in the course of our work. The Clinton campaign at the time was using all kinds of euphemisms, security review, matters, things like that for what was going on. We were getting to a place where the Attorney General and I were both going to have to testify and talk publicly about it. And I wanted to know, was she going to authorize us to confirm we had an investigation? And she said, yes, but don't call it that, call it a matter. And I said, why would I do that? And she said, just call it a matter. And again, you look back in hindsight, you think, should I have resisted harder? I just said,
should I have resisted harder? Here's a 3-letter word for you. Duh.
That's what she said? Sorry. My brain's...
I walked right into that one, ladies and gentlemen. It's perfectly okay. But think about this for a second. This same group of people that are screaming about Russian collusion, that there was Russian collusion with the Trump campaign. Okay, we still don't have any evidence of this. If there is, I would really like to know the answer, but somehow I doubt there is at this point. But even if there was some sort of Russian interference, shouldn't it be more in Obama's lap? And let's not forget, the only person that we have any type of audio or video attempting to do what appears to be a collusion with the Russians was all the way back in 2012-ish, when we had a sitting president sitting across from a Russian representative talking about how after this election he would have more flexibility. Now, just like that, we have audio evidence of a sitting attorney general basically obstructing and instructing on ways to obfuscate a campaign or an investigation. And it wasn't a Republican. Just saying.
Right. On the one hand, Comey says that Trump basically, checking with him, are you on my team? I want your loyalty. What are you doing with this investigation? Or whatever it is that was supposedly said, because now it's so convoluted, that is somehow different than Loretta Lynch saying, let's call this a matter, and directing him to call it a matter so that it seemed less important or less significant than it was. But somehow he sees this with Trump as worthy of, passing on a memo for to be exposed in the media, to expose the administration. But that was just meh. I don't know. It just seems like a little bit of a double standard with him. And like we talked about last week, that he took a political, he politicized his position. He politicized the info he had.
Well, let's face it. If you and this is where you can actually get to the meat of it. If you look at Comey's career and just look at the last several years of what he's done, how he's done it, and what his motivations were, the guy is a political hack, plain and simple. He's basically one of those guys that walks into a room and tries to get a read on the crowd. He would be the guy that if he was about to do something, he would be the guy standing out there, licks his finger, sticks it up, and figures out which way the wind's blowing to figure out which way he wants the conversation to go. That's Comey, because he does nothing but read from people and tell them the things that they want to hear. And that's what has always disturbed me about Comey, because let's not forget, this is the same guy who was, even before any of this came out, about, Donald Trump makes me uncomfortable because I'm a wuss. This is the same guy that was basically wearing a suit that allowed him to blend into the curtains in a room that they were all in, and he stood as close to those curtains as possible, hoping that nobody would notice him. But this is the guy that's supposed to be the director of the FBI? Are you kidding me?
Right. That's been the thing, is I think that we've tried to give him the benefit of the doubt for a long time, and it's just continued to be obvious that, that this has been politics with him for at least a while.
Yeah, I'm not going to say everything that he's ever done is politically motivated, but for about the last 24 months, there's really no way that he can't say that, well, I did this for political reasons. That's like the dismissal of the Hillary campaign issues just to bring them right back up again. That was nothing but political grandstanding. I don't know what his end game was when he decided that he was going to quash everything and then suddenly decided to resurface it. But it didn't have anything to do with trying to make sure that the American people got to the truth. He had an agenda there, and I'm still not quite sure what it was. Unless at the time that he decided to say, well, we've got enough, we're going to go ahead and do this one more time, and I'm going to go ahead and go to the media and start doing my job. And then I don't know if that was basically a little nudge to Trump to say, hey, keep me on as AG and I'll treat you right, because that's kind of what it came across as. Because he knew that he had the ability to be fired from day one. And I'm starting to wonder if he wasn't trying to throw the Trump administration a bone. I'm not saying that the Trump administration knew anything about it. I'm saying that's how slimy this guy is. Just from the little bit that I've seen of him over the last several months, this guy's a weasel. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I felt that way too, which is why I also had, and this is something that's obviously a hot item today to talk about, but it's also why I had some concerns about Mueller. Just because we came off of this politicized, position that Comey chose to take, and how he has continued that since his pink slip, let's say. Mueller has had a very close working relationship with him for a long time. And I think part of the issues with Comey in that position, staying in that position into the Trump presidency, had to do with some issues of, I do think Trump was right in a way that I think some of it may have had to do with some issues of loyalty and some of the things Comey had just gotten caught up in while he was there. And I'm not sure that that's exactly unnatural. I think that when you've served with a president for 2 terms, 8 years, that, you come in during his presidency and then you ride out his presidency with him, that maybe that's kind of, a normal human thing, is to be kind of feel like you're a part of that administration as opposed to a part of sort of a more independent agency, even though it's still under the executive branch. Absolutely, 100%, the executive control that part of it. But they're somewhat independent, and so maybe that's just a natural human reaction. So I think that was always like contentious when you're talking about turning over. But with Mueller and all of his close relationship with Comey, that's a concern. Is he kind of groomed to be that way as well, or is he a little bit more of a independent, bipartisan, do my job type guy? I thought that it was an interesting choice just for the optics of it. Regardless of how he actually operates, it kind of doesn't matter, and that's sad to say, but the optics of it. And now there was this leak today, or this rumor today, that Trump might fire Mueller, and apparently now the administration has said no, that's not happening, and there's a million reasons why that would be a terrible idea. But I do wonder if that was, again, a little bounce off, a little feed it out to the press, see what people say. And if we get backlash, then we'll go, oh, of course not, we'd never do that. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's kind of how he's had his whole presidency so far as a trial balloon.
Right. So it seems like this might be one of those things too. Guy Benson actually wrote a really good piece about why, it would be a terrible.
Hang on, sorry. Somebody was throwing me audio, but I'm not sure what it was. So I thought it was a clip. I thought it was like an article, not audio. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad.
That's okay. I was just saying, Guy Benson wrote a decent thing in Town Hall today about it. Saying about how, this would, it's still within the right of the administration to get rid of him. But it's a bad idea. It can reek of being defensive and guilty and, whatever else you want to say, whatever else you want to call it. And he said, if he is guilty, then I guess that would be reason enough. But if he's not, then that makes it seem so, and can just make this other, revelation that came out, which was about how there were more states than thought involved in this possible cyber attack by the Russians. And this has all been confirmed about trying to tamper with elections. And, that was obviously under Obama, and it was before. This is not a part of what is connected or thought to be connected to Trump's campaign at all, but it does kind of heighten the sensitivity issue about firing someone else that, has been appointed to a position that is actually directly involved in some of the Russia investigations.
Yeah, but that's not, none of the whole craziness in regards to all of this, none of it makes sense, because we're looking in the wrong places. If there was interference, and I'm still not 100% sure that if there was interference, it was actually the Russians. I think there were a lot of other states in play, and having an IT background, it is not impossible to spoof a location. So, I just want to know who did what, so that we know what we need to do. But along those lines, actually, where are we at with time? We need to take a break. I didn't realize we were already that far in. All right, we have hit the bottom of the hour. We're going to take a really quick break. When we come back, we have the audio, or some of the audio, not the whole thing because it's like 2 hours long. But we have what I think is some of the most pertinent audio in regards to the session hearing today, what I like to call the bitch slap of Congress, but we'll talk about that when we get back. This is Jen and Rick. We are coming to you live right now from KLRNradio.com. Stay tuned. Back in about 4 minutes.
Everything is changing.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from the critique of the short story through to line edits on full-length novels. We also offer assistance on generating writers' bios for your websites. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Everything is changing.
All right, folks, welcome back. Well, we're halfway through the show already. We've still got lots more to talk about. Actually, I think before we bring up one of the last things that I had on tap, I want to go ahead and play this Sessions audio. Again, it's not the entirety of it because we don't have 2 hours to listen to it all. It's actually from part of his opening remarks, and to me, it was some of the more telling information that was given during the exchange with the Senate today. So. This is sitting Attorney General Jeff Sessions being questioned by Congress.
Let me state this clearly, colleagues. I have never met with or had any conversation with any Russians or any foreign officials concerning any type of interference with any campaign or election in the United States. Further, I have no knowledge of any such conversations by anyone connected to the Trump campaign. I was your colleague in this body for 20 years, at least some of you, and and the suggestion that I participated in any collusion, that I was aware of any collusion with the Russian government to hurt this country, which I have served with honor for 35 years, or to undermine the integrity of our democratic process, is an appalling and detestable lie. Relatedly, there is the assertion that I did not answer Senator Franken's question honestly at my confirmation.
And that's kind of where I cut it off, only because he went on to explain that, Senator Franken's question, as he commonly does, was very long and rambling and meandering, and basically by the time it was all said and done, he answered the question to the best of his ability. But the point that I want to bring up, and the reason I focused on these two things, is this is what we're doing at this point. We are starting to impugn people that have been in service to the country in one form or another for decades. I mean, it's one thing if it's warranted, but there's no proof of any of this. And how is bringing a sitting attorney general who opted to recuse himself, which I know some people look at as bad optics, but there's a little known rule about this type of stuff where basically the person that's overseeing an investigation can't, in a campaign, can't actually have been a participant in said campaign, which is the only reason why he later admits that he recused himself. Not because he had anything to hide, not because there was any wrongdoing or anything that he knew about, but because of the fact that since he was an active participant in the campaign that was being investigated, he felt, based on those guidelines, that he should recuse himself, and he did. I understand everybody's confused because they're used to the Democrats basically making up their own rules and doing anything however they want to do them. But this is an actual specified rule, and he followed it, and now he's basically being persecuted for it, which makes no sense to me.
Well, and some of the things where they go, not true, he's a liar, he did meet with officials from Russia and blah, 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 blah. They're talking about the time in which he was senator and he served on the Armed Services Committee. Now, let's read exactly what that is. It's a committee of the United States Senate empowered with legislative oversight of the nation's military, including the Department of Defense, military research and development, nuclear energy as pertaining to national security, benefits for members of the military, the selective service system, and other matters related to defense policy. This has often included things that involve the NSA. It has involved the National Security Act. It has involved all sorts of more kind of intelligence leading things and things that, where you have to deal with foreign governments, that especially those that are maybe even considered precarious allies. So, most of his, as far as anything that I've seen, what has been proven meetings with any Russian officials was while he served on that Armed Services Committee, and it was also other members of the committee were there as well, and it was a part of their business.
Well, none of that matters because he lied. He said he's never met with Russian officials, and he did. Who cares if it was not during the time that he was part of the Trump campaign? Who cares if it was when he was part of the Senate committee that you're referring to? The truth is he still met with Russian officials. I'm trying to do an impersonation of a leftist. How am I doing?
Pretty good. I mean, that does seem to be the thing that a lot of people are saying, who cares? Put my finger in my ears. La, 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 la. They don't want to hear anything that doesn't support the narrative that they want to push. By all means, if there is something untoward that went on, I want to know, and I want the people persecuted for it. But I can't support these offhanded kind of just slandering of people and, taking down good men, good women, our government for the purpose of, a political agenda.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's what we're talking about right now. It's all about agenda. And that's what has me the most upset right now. I mean, look, there's still agenda going on the left. There's agenda going on the right. It's time to put all of this aside at this point. And this still goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning of the show. The election's over. We're now into President Trump's first term. Whether you like it, whether you don't, whether you're hashtagging yourself as resistance or whatever you're calling yourself nowadays, he is still the sitting president of the United States. As an American citizen, the fact that you are sitting here rooting for something to be uncovered that will destroy this administration and, in your hopes, void the entire election so that someone who wasn't elected can be appointed president is insanity. I cannot believe we are where we are, because I never in my lifetime thought I would see people so devoid of any concept of how civics actually works in this country, to not only think that this was a possibility, but to be praying for it and rooting for it to happen. Even when Obama was running us off a cliff, never in a million years did I pray that anything bad would happen to him, or that he would be impeached or anything else. The only thing I ever said was, we need to find out what he's doing, how he's doing it, and make sure that it doesn't happen again. Now, I was not a fan of Obama. I tried to do the whole same thing I've been doing here. I gave him the benefit of the doubt for a long time. And when I first started getting heavy into political talk through Facebook and everything else, I tore into him quite a bit, but I never once said anything like has been coming out of the mouth of the left in regards to President Trump. I've never once said anything like the left has been spewing about his family, his children. Barron Trump is in the news again because somebody was ridiculing him for wearing a t-shirt of all things. And the t-shirt sold out. And then somebody else that I saw earlier was basically comparing him to Hitler and saying, well, yeah, he's only an 11-year-old boy. If you could go back in time and kill Hitler at 11, wouldn't you? So you're comparing the president's son to Hitler now? I mean, what? Calling his dad Hitler wasn't good enough? You got to do it with his son now?
Right. Also, you have no idea what he will become. That's why we don't kill children who have evil parents. I mean, we just don't do that in this world. I mean, I realized that it has been done in more imperialistic societies. Obviously, Tsar Nicholas and his family were all decimated in order to prevent their further rule and what people thought was maybe a more evil and privileged kind of secession, and they didn't want that line standing in the way of what they wanted to make Russia. I know that this was a thing that happened in a barbaric past, in my opinion, but here in the real world, in America, we don't decide how someone's going to turn out. And if we think it's funny to joke about having them killed to prevent the future Hitler when they're 11 years old, that's just insane.
I mean, and look, say what you want about Trump. I've seen Barron. He seems like, I've only seen him on TV a handful of times, but he seems like your normal, everyday 11-year-old kid. I can't imagine anybody just coming up with the idea of, well, if you could have killed 11-year-old Hitler, wouldn't you have done it? Well, sure, I probably would have, knowing what we know now.
But knowing what you know now, which you can't possibly know about someone like Barron.
I mean, just the idea that because you don't like his dad, this kid's going to grow up to be the next Hitler. I mean, look, Trump is a lot of things, but he is not a dictator. He's already been in power for over 100 days. If there was going to be a drastic shift, it probably would have already happened. Look at how quickly coups usually occur after elections.
Wait, instead he's doing things like the ACHA that he praised. Now he's calling it mean and berating Republicans for it. I mean, things that he had supported and wanted pushed through, and now he's going, wait a second. I mean, he flip-flops so hard and so fast, you can't even keep up. So if he was, like you said, if he was really going to be this super authoritarian leader in this country, there would have been a lot of things he would have already seized, done, and, manipulated that haven't happened.
Hear that? That was Trump swerving to the left. I told you it was going to happen.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. If anything, he's just going to completely piss off conservatives, the remaining conservative support that he has, and Republicans in general.
Well, yeah. I mean, and the thing about it is, we've all known that was coming. Anybody that's paid attention has known that there was going to be a time when he was going to put aside his vestiges of being a conservative and start doing things his way. I think this is the first real sign of that, because and again, it's because, I mean, say what you want. The guy may be great at business, but he doesn't understand politics. It's not that much different than Obama. And I know nobody likes to hear me say that, but because, yeah, he has business sense. I'll give him that. He has money. I'll give him that. It's better than the community organizer we put in last time, only because at least he has some business sense. But running a country like the United States is not quite like being the CEO in a boardroom. There's an allegory there, but it's not quite the same thing. And what he's finding is you can't do things the way that you do them as a CEO, because that's kind of what they do. They float an idea, they get feedback on it. If it goes good, they run with it. If it doesn't, they move on. Nobody pays any attention to that, because that's just how things are done. You get feedback from the people around you. As a politician and as a sitting president, if you spend all day sending up weather balloons wanting to get a feel for the crowd, the first things people start noticing is you don't really seem to know what the hell you're talking about or what you're doing. And it's starting to come out because he can't make up his mind where he is on anything at any given time. The AHCA, which was his baby, his idea, he wanted to push through, but now that nobody likes it, oh, it's terrible and the Republicans are mean, we got to fix it.
Well, there's one thing I won't disagree with. I mean, I think Republicans are mean, just not in the way that they think that he is thinking or that the left thinks. I mean, I think the Republicans are mean because they promised their constituencies and their voters a lot of things, and they made a lot of excuses for a very long time. They now have the House, the Senate, most of the governorships, and the Oval Office, and they are failing to perform, and they are failing to provide what they said they would. So, yeah, they're big fat meanies. I'll agree with them there.
Wait, okay. So just in case somebody just tuned in, why exactly are the Republicans big fat meanies again?
Because they're full of it. And they have had many years where they've been promising those of us that are conservative, that are Republicans, a lot of things. And they kept saying, if we just get 1,600 Penn Ave, if we just get, a majority in this and a majority in that, if we could just get these things to all come together, well, guess what? You have it all. You've got the Senate, you've got the House, you've got the Oval, and you've got most of the states. So make this crap happen.
Where's my standing ovation button when I need one? I really, really need a standing ovation.
So what I'm saying is they're mean to their voters because they're punishing us, and I don't know what for.
Well, they're punishing us because we were dumb enough to listen to their crap.
Well, not that. Not all of them, but quite a few.
Well, I mean,
more enough to derail this train. And I'm not talking about the Trump train. I'm talking about the America First, putting the people in front of all of this other nonsense and giving us the freedoms that we deserve, the ability to make the choices that we want to make, and rebuilding this nation the way that we think that it should be. And they're tying our hands behind our backs just like the Democrats did.
So wait. By choices we want to make, I'm assuming you mean clothes we want to wear and bathrooms we want to use?
And healthcare we choose to have or not have. All of those things.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, See, here's the thing, and you're right, because and this is one of the things that has annoyed me with the Republicans from the jump. So we're going to go over this one more time for those of because we've got a lot of folks that look like they may be tuning in for the first time. Republicans, as you have said, have had 7.5 years to get a plan put together. Not only to get a plan put together to repeal Obamacare, but the fact of the matter is they already had one. They put one on Obama's desk multiple times and he wouldn't sign it. So my question is, when, because you kept saying, give us the House, we'll fix it. Gave you the House, didn't fix it. Give us the Senate, we'll fix it. Gave you the House and the Senate, you didn't fix it. Now, your only excuse was, well, he won't sign it. See, we're putting it up. He won't sign it. So you get a Republican, president with an R behind their name, sitting in the Oval Office, and you don't put up the bill that you've put up multiple times before that would have done everything that you said we needed it to do, but Obama wouldn't sign it. It was nothing but a damn shell game, and they knew it. These people want health care just as much as the Democrats do. They're just hiding it. The only one that hasn't hidden it was Trump, because he point blank told us since, I believe it was September of 2015, I want socialized medicine because it's the only way to fix this mess is to make sure the government pays for it, but we'll do it in a way that saves us money on the back end, but the government's going to have to pay for it, and that's a very un-Republican thing for me to say. So that's the one thing that I will give him props on. He stood up, told the American people exactly what he wanted to do and that he was going to do it and how he was going to do it, and then managed to make them forget that he'd ever said it. And if you tried to show them the video or the audio of it, they're like, well, you're a liar. That was edited.
Oh, it's so true. Gosh, what has happened? It's so sad.
Federalized education has happened. Centralized federal government has happened. People have become dependent on the federal government. That is exactly what has happened. We have an entire generation that is living in fear because they have to have the government handout. They have to have it. They can't survive without it.
I think it's even more than that. They have to have the government. It's not just a handout. It's the mandate. It's the tell me what to do, tell me what to think. It's not just that. That's the scariest part. It's not only just the give me what I think I deserve now because I've become accustomed to it and I think I'm owed it by this country and by this government. It's now also I think that I should look to you to tell me what's best for this and how I should think about that and what is wrong. And what I should be mad about and what I should be happy about and what I should expect. So it goes so much more than just the financial dependency. It goes into the being of the mind and the soul. And that is when you have a completely, basically, I'm trying to even think of the right word, like captivated public that is extremely easy to control and therefore ripe for the taking.
Now, for everybody that is right now fuming because we started talking bad about the Republicans because, we're conservatives and you're not supposed to talk bad about the Republicans. Let me explain to you why they make it so easy. Listen to this. It's only about 35 seconds long.
On behalf of the entire senior staff around you, Mr. President, we thank you for the opportunity and the blessing that you've given us to serve your agenda. On behalf of the entire senior staff around you, Mr. President, we thank you for the opportunity and the blessing that you've given us to serve your agenda and the American people, and we're continuing to work very hard every day to accomplish those goals.
All right, I'm not going to let the rest of it play. That was Reince Priebus. Doing what appeared to be a kind of an apprentice-style roundtable with cameras in the room where everybody that was part of Trump's senior staff had to go around the room and tell everybody what an honor it was for them to be there. What trips me out about what Reince says was the word choicing, the word usage. You've given us blessings? You've given us blessings? What?
Yeah, I found this all a little bit creepy. Now, I don't think, and I kind of read about this a little bit, that it's not always so openly covered, but there is somewhat of a precedent for having this kind of the initial cabinet meeting, having this kind of congratulatory, thankful type deal. Everybody kind of thanking POTUS or whatever. But this went into, I don't know. It was just kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies. It went into a weird category there.
Dude, it was downright creepy. I mean, some of it, because I've listened to more of it, because there's more audio of it out there. Some of it was funny. Mm-hmm. There was the part about the sitting CIA dude that was like, hey, great to be here, honored to work with you, and in the truest tradition of the CIA, I ain't telling the media nothing. And everybody laughed, and that was pretty funny. But then you keep rolling back to Reince Priebus, talking about the blessings that have been bestowed upon him by Donald Trump.
Yeah, no.
And I'm just were you gonna, start doing some sort of chanty thing here in a second? I mean, because that just, I don't know. That literally, and I get it. I'm a religious type person. That literally made the hair stand up on the back of my neck, because that just seemed like something that you would see in the Left Behind movies where they're sitting with the dude. I'm not gonna say who it is.
Nikolai Carpathia.
Yeah.
I'll say it. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yes, I just outed myself. I have read the Left Behind books, and I have seen the movies.
Dude,
thoroughly enjoy.
The first movies were good. The Nicolas Cage one, not so much.
Yeah, no. Well, there's pretty good reason for that. I mean...
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm honestly... And I'm going to out myself for this, and people are going to, yank my man card, my conservative card, and any other kind of card they can find. I actually happen to be a Nicolas Cage fan. I actually like some of the movies that he's done. This was not one of them.
I don't even know you. I'm just kidding.
I know. She's going to email Jess after the show, or she's going to email Jess and Ann after the show and be like, hey, I know you guys talk to one another, and hey, just for the record, Rick's nuts, and Ann, I need a new co-host.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I haven't hated everything he's done, but mostly the movies that I love the most are his oh goodness gracious, what are they even called? Why can't I think of it? Some of the reason with the National Treasure.
Yeah,
I love them. I love the National Treasure movies, but see, I'm gonna love those no matter who's acting in them, because I love history. I love his particularly American history, and so that's always gonna, keep me captivated.
Yeah, no, I mean, and honestly, I think those were two of my most favorite movies that he's done, only because of the historical perspectives. And yes, some of it was a little campy. It was kind of Raiders of the Lost Ark-ish, but at the same time,
But hey, who doesn't like Raiders of the Lost Ark? I mean, there's a time and a place for those things,
Oh, I know. All right, so believe it or not, we are just about out of time, and I wanted to make sure that I mentioned something, because we've had something pretty exciting happen here at KLRN Radio. We actually have a host with us, Judy Elmore, who actually does a lot of behind-the-scenes work on the website. She also has a show that she hosts here that airs usually about once a month called Conversations in Science. Yes, we actually have a PhD on the radio station. But she's also recently published a book. For anyone who might be interested in finding more out about the book, you can find it on Amazon. Now, the title of the book is Hidden Traps, A Writer's Guide to Protecting Your Online Platform. But I have to admit, after reading through a little bit of it that I've been able to see here and there so far, because I haven't had time to sit down and read through the whole thing yet, yes, I have a copy. It can be used not only to protect your writing, but if you are somebody that is trying to maybe build an online blog or some other online platform, there are still some good tips and tricks in here for things for you to be aware of. You can find it at Amazon. Right now on Kindle, it's $5.99. Paperback is $9.99. And it's a good book, so I would at least encourage you to check it out. Not only because, it's somebody that I know, but it's a good book.
It's awesome.
Now, if I can only find time to sit down and write the 5 different projects I've had floating around in my head for the last 5 years, I just need to find a planet where there's 48 hours in a day.
I can't imagine why you don't have time. I mean, it's not like you do like 20 hours of radio a week, plus work your real job, plus deal with kids and family stuff. I don't understand, Rick. Why are you slacking off?
I know, right? I am such a slacker. Speaking of slacking, because of last Thursday, when we were, because we're going to be making some changes here, so I was trying to get used to the way some things are going to start working once we've changed some things behind the scenes for the station. So we'd been doing Jen and Rick and America Off the Rails back to back and just running commercials between them, but then because of we're still doing things old school, it led to more editing for me. I actually, speaking of slacking, fell asleep at my keyboard while editing Jen and Rick. So to make sure that one actually gets put in its proper place and doesn't mess with anybody else's rotation, I'm actually going to run that one tonight as a live stream as soon as this show ends. So hang around for that one. We'll be back with America Off the Rails tomorrow night. There are some other things that I need to be trying to work on taking care of around here because the wife gave me the look. So I have a list.
Ooh.
Yeah, see, she's married. She knows what that look is.
I'm the wife. I give it. So I definitely know what that is.
See, I set you up for it, and you took the shot just fine, because I wasn't going to be the one to say that.
You better comply.
All right, well, on that note, folks, we are officially out of time. Why don't you remind folks where it is that they can hang out with you when you're not on the radio hanging out with me?
Sure. Come find me on Twitter at jholmstead. I'm JR Homestead on Facebook. And check out misfitspolitics.com, where a bunch of silly, smart, awesome people are, writing a lot of fun things. And then our Twitter account is constantly engaging. And tomorrow night is our Misfit gift scenario night. So check it out.
Dude, you guys do some really fun things with your Twitter account.
We just try to keep everybody engaged, and then also to take a little break from politics. I mean, we still incorporate political topics and people, but try to kind of lighten it up a little bit and remind us all, that it's still okay to have a little bit of fun and engage with each other and make friends on Twitter. That's kind of why we're there. So,
All right. Well, folks, again, we are officially out of time. We'll be back with you again Thursday night, and I will be back with you tomorrow night, hopefully, if I can get this honey-do list done anyway. We'll see you guys later. Take care.